Land issue.
All right, let's see. So I think we're just gonna have you just go there.
You know, if you guys can review your notes, you said no pledge of allegiance.
Like the whole thing, or
No business.
Yep, just
Just
ask
announcements.
That's it.
How long's the meeting to discuss that?
I should get
About an hour meeting.
And everything is always.
Yeah, and validation is the difficult concept.
I mean, that was.
They'll hire me out.
Right out the door.
And then I-
I'll give you some paper.
Okay. We get to start the meeting. We need to start our
We're gonna have to elect somebody. We have no sergeant.
Yeah, when you want to go. I said we're ready to do.
So just go.
Yep, ready to. You first, right now, this second.
Yeah. Yeah.
Who do I introduce after me?
It's me,
And you're our contest chair.
contest here.
You should,
Go ahead.
you're like 20 minutes.
Good morning, TechMasters. Let's kick off today's meeting by going right to our announcements. Does anybody have any announcements? It's going to be a little different meeting today due to the contest. Any announcements? No announcements.
I have
Brett has one.
Katie's here.
Welcome, Katie.
Yeah.
Come on, come on in. No announcements. We're going to move on to guests. We're going to guests today.
We just started.
Right, would you please stand up, introduce yourself?
My name is Nunes. I'm from the Talking Heads. That's across the street from 494, not too far from here. I just visited as a area governor.
Thank you. We have another guest. Would you like to stand up and tell us a little bit about yourself?
I am Matt. I just had my first tech job yesterday, so now I'm learning how to speak again.
He works here.
I'm number 3 and improving. Matt is number 4. Thank you, Matt. Next, we'll move on to introducing our contest chair. Today's contest chair is Vince Bullinger. Please help me welcome Vince.
Thank you, Mr. President. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to our meeting, and this is our Humorous and Table Topics contest today. Let's see. So first off, I wanted to talk about the importance of contests. It's great that we have our typical meetings and everything goes well. We're sitting here, we're learning all these different kinds of things, but it's great to kind of stretch our communication of the issues. It's great to try to mix it up a little bit. Have a different meeting every once in a while, and things like contests are kind of breathing a lot of life into it. On top of that fact, a lot of people are a bit hesitant about going on to the next level. Like, boy, I don't know about the area thing. That should be pretty hard and going to be some stiff competition. What if I were to win there and I had to go to the division contest? Boy, that's going to be some stiff competition, right? You kind of have to stretch yourselves out a little bit. First off, it's great to really challenge yourself and see, well, how can I get better next year? Okay, I've been to area contests. I've lost before. I didn't go home and sulk about it for the next few days. I got over it, 3 to 4 days. Just kidding. Perfectly fine. In fact, I got second place at the area contest in the spring, and I thought to myself, hey, this is better. I don't have to go to the division contest, and I still got a prize. This is awesome. And anyway, on top of that, you are experiencing other people. You get to see what other people do. You're very familiar with the other people in our club, but you're not familiar with other people who may have some different life experiences, different skills, different strategies, that sort of thing. And I really think it's a really worthwhile thing, and I'm glad that we're doing it on a much more consistent basis than we used to do in the past. All right, so next item up here is to explain the contest rules and roles. First thing is the timer. Today's timer is Tyler. Go ahead and have back to Tyler, on that sheet is the timer sheet. Please use that. You're going to write off. We're going to have two humorous speech contest contestants, and we're going to have 3 tabletop contestants. By the way, we could always have more tabletop contestants. So if anybody wants to just jump in at the last second, let me know. But I am not able to compete. Neither can yet, because we're area directors and we're somehow banned from participating in contests. So luckily, you guys have granted a reprieve and might actually have a shot at winning. Next up are our judges. Let's see. Everybody who is not a contestant or a timer or a ballot counter gets to be a judge. Isn't that awesome? Phenomenal. How many judges? Oh, I see. All right, let's see. I'm going to hand these off to specific people just in case. I already said that is going to be a judge. So you get 1 for each. And you have been deemed a judge now. There you go. And I'm going to name, let's see, Alex. Been around a while. See, maybe more seasoned competitors here. That's Gwen wants.
I thought it was special. You are special.
And
Just look at my mouth.
you sure are. There you go. Let's see. And last but not least, all right. Now, so timer, first and foremost, I want you to know that in general, we are typically, we are watching our speeches, we're watching tabletops and stuff, and every once in a while, you'll notice someone go, oh, oops, sorry, I was paying attention to your speech and I forgot to put up the cards. Can't do that today, under no circumstances. Don't worry about how funny Jesse and Will are being. Just make sure you stick to the cards. If you really want to pay attention, put the timer in view of the speaker so that you don't forget. And for table topics, you need to put the green card up visibly at 1 minute on the dot. And you keep that up until 1:30. And at 1:30, put the green card down and put the yellow card up on the dot. Don't miss it. And at 2 minutes, put the red card up. And you keep it up. Even if they go 2:15, 2:30, 2:45, don't wave it. Don't add any kind of level of significance. Just make sure it's up so that they know about it. Don't wave it around like, oh no, you've gone over time. It is of no consequence to you, but if they go over 2:30, they're disqualified. For speeches, you put the green card up at 5 minutes on the dot. You leave that green card up until 6 minutes. Then you put the green card down, put the yellow card up. You leave that card up until 7 minutes. Bring the yellow card down, put the red card up. No matter what, 7:30, 8, 9, 10, half an hour. Just leave it up. Don't wave it around, don't throw it at them, don't try to get their attention. They know, they see it. It's up to them to stop talking. But at 7:30, they will be disqualified. Not a mention to you or anything like that. You don't worry about it. Judges, again, the contestants will be disqualified if they go under 4 minutes and 30 seconds or over 7 minutes and 30 seconds. But you are not judging on time. You are only judging on what you see on the ballot sheet. If they go for 35 minutes and they give a great speech, go ahead, list them first place. Doesn't matter. If they go for 3 minutes, it's the most amazing 3 minutes of your entire life. Go ahead, put them first place. They will be disqualified, but you won't be told that they went over. Don't worry about time. Okay? You'll notice there's a few categories here, and they have numbers next to them. You have 10 to 15 points for this, 5 to 10 points for that. Those are more essentially like notes. The only thing that's actually going to matter as far as placing is the very bottom part where it says first, second, and third. That's the only part that matters. That's the only thing the ballot counter is going to be looking at. Okay? But feel free to take notes and put numbers down and put whatever else you want. But no one will be looking at that. So for example, if you score someone with an 83 and another person with an 82, and then you think about it and say, no, the person that got the 82, I think they were the better speaker today. Go ahead, make them the winner. All right, ballot counter. I believe that is Tamir. Tamir will be looking at your ballots. First place gets 3 points, second place gets 2 points, and third place gets 1 point. Then you'll tally those up, and whoever has the most points will win. There is a tie-breaking judge. I won't tell you who that is. And if it happens to be a tie, then we will shake that out. All right, contestants, Jesse, Will, as I said, for humorous speech today, 5 to 7 minutes. If you go under 4:30, you'll be disqualified. If you go over 7:30, you'll be disqualified. You won't be told about that until after the contest and all the judging and validating. Okay, if you go 7:35, no one's going to tell you until after. For table topics, same 2 people plus Brett, 1 to 2 minutes. And if you go under 1 minute, you're disqualified. No buffer zone there. You have to go at least 1 minute. If you don't see that green card, you don't. If you go over 2 minutes and 30 seconds, you'll be disqualified. So as soon as you see that red card, whether it's during a speech or table topics, answer, cut it off as quickly as you can. All right? Does everybody have their proper paperwork, the rules I mentioned? Is everybody okay and ready to go with those rules? Any questions? All right, great. All right, so speaker break. What I'm going to do is we're going to have a 5-minute break here, and we're going to have the 2 humorous speech contestants come up to the front. We will determine a speaking order, and you can go ahead. Everybody else can go ahead and get coffee, whatever schmooze amongst yourselves. Be back here in just 5 minutes. All right, we're going to give about a second.
How's it going?
I thought about the order of speeches never seen. So I thought you're probably focused on
Well, it's supposed to be
the
dead,
last few days.
but.
I have to.
Good to see you.
No, it's time, it's over like now.
So speakers.
Yeah.
I
They end up
That was,
Probably did.
Incomplete request
I think I came out with that.
some time ago, but he didn't respond.
That would be about
'Cause
2000.
then we were like once in 3 months. And yes, I know, I got a request from him and not remember.
Yeah. I'm actually
Yeah.
across the street.
Yeah.
I
do.
No, I first.
Yeah, I tried and tried
Yeah,
to
so
do
I
the
pressed
kind of
on
thing,
it.
and I work it well, but I'm not.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, that's good.
It's good time.
Well, it's supposed to be.
Silver line was based off of silver line was WPF.
Normally, yes, and
They did was sent to active, basically the active successor, I think. It was a competitor to Flash.
I've seen much success. Don't worry about it. So if I pull this up and then, well adopted, I'll set this up. I still talk to you.
Yeah.
Everybody's all set. Everybody's all set.
That's fine.
Yeah, it's Canadian SAML
It's what I was
for SAML
Yeah.
and you don't
Yeah, you
have
can make
to.
Right, you don't have to.
WPF,
Yeah.
if you're
Yeah.
doing a Windows desktop app, you
just
probably should get one to WPF.
Yeah.
If it's a Windows desktop.
Yeah.
Or a Windows, or specifically a Windows target app.
Family requires
Yeah.
real headquarters certification. I'm going through that process right now.
All right.
That's it.
And I get Jules. Actually, technically, I still live from Diane Winning. She was the District 6 director. Posted this a little while ago. Actually, that was kind of fun, this one here. What professional speakers think I do? Kind of babies compared to them. But that was bad. Wedding crashers, what my friends think I do. What my family thinks I do, ultra boring garbage. I think I'm all special, but really I'm just, I gotta get my table tennis question. I gotta be funny for my new speech contest. Another thing, when it comes to technology, I find it funny what people think I actually do. Like they actually think this is kind of how you write code, kind of write out words and supposed to somehow figure out what it's supposed to mean. I actually heard somebody actually say this, like, can you teach me how to code? And they said, you can't really do that real quickly. And so he literally opened up a text file, started typing out stuff just like this, and changed it the extension to exe and thought it would work. Okay. All right. So this isn't even that much of a stretch. All right, so we have two great speakers today.
Yes, no bonus.
I do.
Except for no,
I messed everything up apparently.
so go ahead and click on more. There we go, F5.
Great. So here to tell us all about how David Hasselhoff shaped his career, please help me welcome today's first contestant, Jesse Lee.
For the record, that is actually how I put Vince hat up there. So I'm going to share with you how David Hasselhoff shaped my career and a couple of other short stories that kind of go along with it. So it started out at Best Buy, probably about 1999, and we had a security team there who was a really tight security team, really tough. However, they're a fun bunch of guys, so it made it really fun. When it became really personal to me, it was one time when I was sitting in a meeting and I had this sinking feeling in my gut, thinking, oh crap, what did I forget? Did I forget the oven on? Did I forget whatever else? No, I forgot to lock my computer up. And that was one of their things that they used to do is when you forgot to lock your computer up, they change your wallpaper. When you do weak passwords, they do something else to your computer. So sure enough, I start walking back from the meeting and I see a bunch of security guys kind of like looming around that area and stuff like that. More than likely to get a reaction out of this right here, which is something that I saw on my wallpaper. So anyways, you know, it was a fun little time, but you know, it really didn't stop there. It really became a nice little fun cat and mouse, spy versus spy kind of a thing where I'd see them leave their laptops open or desktops open. I'd go over and I'd change their wallpaper. Same thing, they'd come and change mine. And it was amazing, the staggering amount of David Hasselhoff photos that are on the internet. Just amazing. So it doesn't stop there. I mean, we could do Nerf guns, or, you know, a favorite of mine is the wireless mouse, where you can plug the little knob into somebody's computer, and when they walk away, of course. And then the trick of it is, though, is when they walk back, and they're typing in their password, and they click go, you got to kind of distract them right away and say, hey, you know, so how was your day, blah, blah, blah. So that little thing that comes up and says, you know, installing new device, found device, or something like that, they don't notice that. Anyways, then you can walk away and every once in a while move their mouse around in their screen. And, you know, it's so weird on how, like, illogical these super logical people get. They'll, like, shake their mouse, or they'll, like, wag their, you know, mouse pad or something like that. Just all these illogical type things. So anyways, another one of my really fun times that I recall was, there's a gentleman that I worked with at one of these companies. He used to keep really nice notes that he'd take to his stand-up, you know, things like create customer review model, HTML, DB layer, all this other kind of fun stuff. So anyways, anytime that I'd see him before this meeting, go walk, you know, to get some coffee or go to the bathroom or whatever else, I'd go to his notebook and I'd write, you know, little tasks that I would want him to do as well. The nice kind of thing about that is we'd get into the meeting and he wouldn't notice until maybe like halfway through the meeting, and he'd get through his things and yeah, nice. And give him the little like acrobatic eyebrow. So anyways, before this talk, I told him I wouldn't mention any names, and I won't mention any names, but I will just say that this same person used to make like really weird faces at me whenever we posed for pictures, and sometimes even photobomb me, which is like really weird. But anyways, he'd also, kind of nice thing, he'd remind me when I'd have to wash my vehicle. Still don't know what the bananas is about, by the way. Again, not naming names, but it seems like everybody likes to join in. Everybody wants to have fun at work. It's just that you have to give them that opportunity to have fun at work, and then you get things like this. So as far as for some of you, you might be lucky enough to meet that certain somebody who you can match wits with. And that's where I'm going to leave you with a story of working at Ally with Justin Peck. He was my worthy adversary, so to speak, in fun. We could match wits back and forth, and he and I just kind of had this thing together where we just matched it up really well. So I'm going to tell you a little bit of a story about one of the times. We used to have these meetings, all day long meetings. So I think it's like a Tuesday Tuesday day, once every 2 weeks. And we'd go in and we'd have things like release planning, story planning, and then we'd have demos and stuff like that. So it's an all-day meeting. And they were kind of a little bit boring, but anyways, during one of the meetings, I should probably mention this as well. We'd have all of the business folks in there. We'd have all the BAs, all the project managers, all the developers, everybody in this meeting at Ally. So I mean, we had everybody in there. Anyways, we'd be kind of like halfway through this meeting, and one of the times I noticed that he had Instant Messenger running in his little thing. Well, the great thing about Instant Messenger is it pops this little toast up, stays there for a while, and then it pops it down. So anyways, Justin is projecting just as I'm projecting here, his laptop up on the big screen, so people can see creating stories and so on and so forth. So of course, I had instant message him, thanking him for the backup that he gave me last night or something like that. And pop up, and everybody Well, he's a pretty smart dude, so he caught onto this right away. In the next meeting, I noticed that he had to shut down. But I did notice, however, though, that he had Outlook up. And that's another kind of a little program that has this nice little toast that pops up. So, of course, I just sent him my email, and you got to put it in the subject. And I asked him how his rash was doing and stuff like that. But he got onto that as well. So, to kind of end this story up, one of the times, I was one of the last ones to leave, and I noticed that he left his laptop unlocked. So I thought, all right, this is perfect. Go over there, I'm going to Hasselhoff him, put Hasselhoff on his desktop. I'm going to raise all the applications back up and stuff like that to where it's at least halfway through the meeting before he realizes it. So I go and I do this, and I leave and make sure all the applications are up again. And I come back, and pretty much everyone is there, and we're all ready to start. And we get about halfway through the meeting, and I'm getting all excited. I'm like, anytime he's going to move an application to the side or shrink them down or something like that, we're going to see a little piece of Hasselhoff on there. Didn't happen. So about 5 minutes in, or 5 minutes left till the end of the meeting, same thing. Last call. So he asked for any questions, comments, concerns. So I thought, geez, I have to get some sort of something out of this. So I said, can you move that application down a little bit? Just kind of acting all innocent. But he has an acting background, and he acts quite innocent himself. Maybe to reverse, I'd say maybe a couple hours before the meeting. So as I was at lunch, although I was the last one there, Justin was the first one back. So he noticed this, and he swapped out the backgrounds. And so when I was coming back to something I thought was this David Hasselhoff on the screen, and he was all innocently kind of going back to the story now, where he's kind of like, oh, close this one, move this one, or he's acting all innocent and whatnot about it. Yeah, close that, and stuff like that. Well, anyways, this is what I ended up seeing on the screen. It's great. Me superimposed over Zach Efron. But I hope you can have fun at work like I do. It makes it a lot more enjoyable. Thank you.
We're going to give the judges a couple minutes. The judges are ready. Judges ready? All right. I'll introduce our second speaker. Our second speaker is our current president. Doing a great job these last couple months. He's a pretty funny guy based on our last speech. Maybe it was a speech for him, who knows? Here to help make us laugh, our president of Austin.
Thank you, Vince. Okay, when we're young, we often ignore advice that's given to us. After all, we know everything, and what we don't know, we don't need to know. Or so I thought. In the early 90s, I had a used car and I needed to get some brake work done. That's what we called it back then, was brake work. I brought it into the mechanic and he told me, in addition to pads, I needed my calipers rebuilt. Now, for those of you who don't know how a brake works, let's pretend this is our brake rotor. It's connected to the wheel. There's 2 of them on the car. As the car moves, the rotor turns. To stop the car, there's something called a caliper that squeezes the brake rotor. When you want to go again, the caliper must release so that the rotor can turn. This guy tells me I have 1 caliper that's kaput, but I need to get them both replaced. And I'm young and I say, sure, buddy, I bet I need an ECM valve and an air cleaner too, right? And he looked me in the eye and I remember the look on his face. He reached into his coveralls, pulled out a handkerchief, wiped the back of his neck, and he said, okay, but I need you to sign right here that you don't want them fixed. And I said, whatever, where do I sign, man? So cut forward a couple days after that, I'm driving around and I can feel my brake caliper stick close. And I can feel it because as I slow down, the car wants to go to the left. So I have to turn to the right to compensate, to keep from going into the lane next to me. A few days after this, it sticks, but I realize in my panic of trying everything that if I quick tap the brake, the brake caliper will unstick. Fixed, right? It's probably just need to break in these brake pads. It'll probably get better the more I use it. A few more days go past, and now when the brake caliper sticks, it squeaks, and it squeals loud. Good news is, brake tap trick still works, no problem. A couple more days go by, and now I can feel a grinding when I stop. And the brake tap trick, now it takes 2 taps. You know where this is going, right? A few more days go past. Let me go back to my notes here. A few more days go past. I try the brake tap trick, and now it takes an unknown amount of brake taps to get this thing to free. And then I heard about a party. It was a huge party. Everybody was going to be there. Now I knew my brakes were in bad shape. I knew I should not go across town to this party. I went anyway. Stopped off and picked up a couple of friends on my way over there. By the time we arrive at this party, it's 11:30 at night. It's pitch black. I pull into a field, I turn off the engine, and immediately I smell something strange. We're in the country. It's probably a farm animal smell. Let's party. So my friends, we get out of the car, we start walking toward the gathering of kids, and that's when we notice it. We stop, turn around, we take a few steps back to take it all in. One of my friends goes, whoa. The brake rotor on the front driver's side was glowing bright red in the darkness. There was smoke billowing from the wheel well, from the caliper squeezing that brake pad, and just basically burning it away. There was smoke coming out from underneath the hood, and coupled with the evil glow off the brake rotor, it was like a heavy metal rock concert. It was so cool. But I couldn't leave it like that. It was actually so hot that there was grass clippings, dry grass blades under the car that were popping as they ignited from the heat of the rotor. So I went to a guy next to me. I grabbed his 12-pack of beer, not mine. I ripped it open. I threw all of his cans out on the ground. I flattened the cardboard and I made a fan. I crouched down and I started waving this fan across the rotor, trying to cool it down. But no matter what I did, it just continued to glow back with that evil red glow at it. My friends were taking sticks off the ground and dry blades of grass, and they were pushing them up against my brake rotor, and at the end it would go poof, and it would catch fire. Well, it took a couple of hours for this brake rotor to finally cool down. And when it did, we went home, doing the brake tap technique all the way. A few days later, I'm back at the same repair shop, having my car towed there now. Same guy comes up to me at the counter, and again, I remember him look on his face. He takes out his handkerchief, he wipes down the back of his neck, he looks at me, and it's all he can do to keep a straight face. And he says, "Hi, need some brake work done?" Thank you.
Thank you, Will. Give a couple more minutes for the judges. And make sure to scroll up. The most important part is the very top. The only thing I want is bottom part. But just one.
Oh, I guess we'll do something somewhere, the other one's for table topics. Oh, yeah, thank you. Oh, you want just the bottom?
Yes, ma'am. Give him their, oh yeah, okay, you can. Okay, think we're ready? So, table topics. Now we've had our humorous speech contest. I was trying to figure out which one I should do first, the humorous speech contest or the table topics. And I had been told by someone else that I should do table topics first. I said, okay, they're an experienced Toastmaster, I'm going to listen to them, I'm going to do what they say. Then I stopped and thought about it, I said, what if they gave their table topics questions and had to plan around that when they had this big speech, right? So you've been planning for a few days trying to give your humorous speech, and all of a sudden at the beginning, oh wait, I have to disrupt all my thinking and get my table topics question in the line. So I thought, you know, we're going to do the speech first, then we're going to do the table topics. I think that's going to work out better. So first what we're going to do is we're going to send the 3 contestants out of the room because they're going to be asked the exact same question. We don't want them to be able to hear what the question is and plan it for 5 minutes. It's not exactly fair to everybody else. And the format that we're going to do it is when I bring you in, I'm going to say your name, and I'm going to tell you the question. And I'm going to repeat the question, and then say your name again. And then as soon as they give any kind of verbal or nonverbal communicatory response, that's when the time starts. Sounds good, contestants? We have 3 contestants today, Jesse and Will, and we're also having a 3rd contestant in Brett. So now I'm going to escort you guys out. Today's first table topic presenter will be Brett. Brett Estabrook, how has technology affected your life? How has technology affected your life? Brett Estabrook.
Thank you, Mr. Contest Chair. Good morning, fellow TechMasters, and welcome guests. The question of how has technology affected my life? Well, short answer is, well, I'm employable now. I started off in music as a music major and found a passion for technology in some sort of kind of random way and ended up adding a computer science major. I think my first kind of inkling that I really liked this was the power I had over my roommates. Since I was a music major, most of the people in the house I lived in knew very little about computers at the time. So I was the computer guy. I set up a network so we could all play Doom and all that sort of stuff around our house. I was like, that's pretty cool. Then one day I had an idea. I can really mess with my roommates. So I said, okay, guys, tonight I'm going to install some new antivirus across the network. I'll need to go to each one of your computers and do some stuff. They're like, okay, great, fine. And so I did this, but I didn't install antivirus. In the antivirus, I installed the Trojan program that would allow me to take over and impersonate myself as any of the other computers. I could take over and control their computers. So my one particular roommate, named Matt, has a little bit of an OCD tendency, and he would always get mad if you messed with him with his stuff. So I'm like, he's the perfect target. So one day, Matt's gone. I go to my computer. I log in as my other roommate into his machine, and I change his background to a bunny. It's random. He comes home from school one day, and he's like, Brett, what happened to my computer? There's a bunny on my background. And I'm like, oh, maybe you like bunnies. And he's like, I didn't do that. I don't know how that happened. And I'm like, well, just reboot your computer, whatever. Next day, a bunny in a Santa suit. A little bit better. He's like, what is going on? All these bunnies. And I'm like, I don't know. I'm like, you must have something on your computer. Let me look. So I looked. Said, I didn't find anything. Let's just restart it again. Next day, a bunny in a Santa suit standing next to Matt. And this totally freaked him out. And at that point, he's like, you're messing with me. I know it. And I'm like, okay, let me look at your logs. And I'm like, oh, it isn't me. It's my roommate. I logged in to Sean. So my buddy Sean got all the grief for that. So technology has changed my life because I'm now both employable and I have a whole bunch of fun at work, similar to what Jesse had mentioned earlier. Thank you, Mr. Contest Chair.
You get to experience the wonder of Jesse and Will. Thank you, Brett.
Yeah.
I'll give the judges another minute. Stand right, Brett. Jesse Gould, how has technology affected your life? How has technology affected your life? Jesse Gould.
You know, I don't like your tone, and actually I don't like the question either. So I'm gonna actually tell you about some of my forefathers who are Indians, and how much time do I have?
1 to 2.
All right. And how they trap bears. So this is not technological at all. What you do is you go into the woods, you dig a deep hole, you sprinkle ashes in it, and then you lay a bunch of peas around, you know, like the little green peas around the edge. And you go and you hide, and when you see a bear coming along, and when he goes to take a pee, then you kick him in the ash hole. So that's kind of how like technology worked back in those days, which I appreciate a lot more. Thank you. All right.
I will give the judges another minute here to correct their zeros. Series of cartoons from they wrote the story. This guy had an Sears thing. They wanted to get in this one. I guess you got your own town with Japanese cartoons and stuff. So, how dare you? Animated to see them. Will always be that my opportunity. You can't bribe me with millions of I will get their Will Austin, how has technology affected your life? How has technology affected your life? Will Austin.
Thank you, Mr. Tabletop Master. Fellow TechMasters, honored guests. To answer the question, how has technology affected my life? I would have to reflect back on my first introduction to technology as I know it today. And that would be computer programming on a VIC-20 at the department store Montgomery Wards. Me and my childhood friend, Scott Henderson, learned about the peek and poke functions on the VIC-20. And using peek and poke, you could make sounds emit from the keyboard. And we would go into Montgomery Wards pretty much every other day, go onto the VIC-20, and we would write a little program that if you touched any key, we would make the speaker emit this horrible noise using peek and poke. So we'd set up the program really quick, and then we'd run into the furniture department and pretend we're trying out the Lazy Boys. And we'd watch unsuspecting, usually elderly people come up to the computer. They'd look at the screen, and eventually they'd touch it. It would go off. That was great fun. Excellent, excellent times. That's my first introduction to computers, and that's when I learned that we could make computers do what we actually wanted them to do. Thank you.
All right. We'll give the judges another minute or two and show their responses here. Judges, as you are finished, please raise your hand and I'll come collect your ballot. Hearing this. Let's go outside. Oh, yes, of course, I didn't know we didn't have keys. Here, and I can take a little 1 minute siesta over here.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Really, like, yeah, I would work also. Yes. I know Lucy has been too, yes. And then calls.
Yes, yes. No, we are on the same computer. Because he is he's on the computer and you too.
Yeah.
And I did it.
Yep. Yep, yeah. Really?
I think they all do.
Yeah. Because either that or.
We had a quite on a, my parents got it shortly before this morning. It was pretty good. And so I was yeah, this is. We have this here. Yeah. And Yeah, so follow me down the hall.
Where were you? What is this? I expected you to be here.
Oh, yes, yes. He, I'll come back and he'll immediately. Then I sit down. But yeah. I'll sit on her. Or sit on her lap. And.
Yeah, this is what we're doing. This is well known for falsifying results. For the condition of construction.
Yes, that's the thing he does. He also learned targeting. Oh, so he wants attention.
What's time?
All right, the results are in. Going to announce the results here. I did not bring any certificates for you because I don't care. And let's see, so we have a definitive winner for each of the two contests. And I did not have to be the tie-breaking judge, as I noted myself. I didn't have to indulge in actually making the winners. I did have to do that at the speech contest in my area. I had to choose the second place winner. So good thing I didn't have to do that today. But anyway, so we had two great speeches, both very funny, and we had two great tabletop responses. All three great. So two. It's funny. But anyway, we're keeping with the theme here.
You're cracking yourself up.
Number one thing, let's see, who was it? Who was the comedian? Andy Kaufman said, hey, just make myself laugh. If you want to laugh, fine. It's great. He trolled the whole crowd. It was funny. Anyway, so for table topics, we have in third place, we have Jesse Lee. And in a tight second place, we had Brett Estabrook, which means that first place for the tabletop contest is Will Austin. Our phenomenal president will be going on to our area contest, which will be held when and where?
On October 11th.
October 11th. Where?
5 p.m. at Seagate.
Seagate. Okay.
Seagate, yeah.
Very convenient for you, and that is that's really close to ILM, right?
Yes.
Yep, so very close to here.
801.
I will get you the, well, I'm sorry, I suppose, I guess as the contest chair, I should probably do it. Instead of Will picking himself out and saying, hey, you should come see me, I'll go ahead and send an email out about the time and date and make sure that we all go there. Also, another thing to help you out here, as an area director, I know that we need help. We need judges, timers, ballot counters, things like that. Those don't appear from the area. We need people from the groups and clubs in the area to help out. So if you are someone who would like to go see a very well-polished, well-run contest, suppose what we're doing right now, then go and see Nat's area contest on October 11th at Seagate. Yes. And then on top of that, you can see really good competitors, all the winners from all the clubs, and we're going to have a lot of, for example, the person that ran the area contest here in April or something was the area director of the whole district. So, and that's pretty nice to have had that help out. So anyway, so if you can help out, if you could be a judge or ballot counter timer, please let her know, because we need at least one person from each club. All right, and now on to the tally for the best speaker. We had two very good speeches, and then we had very, very close results. Luckily, like I said, I did not have to be the tiebreaker. But in a very, very close vote, second place was Jesse, which means first place was representing us in both cases. Phenomenal job to both contestants in that case as well. And with that, let's see what else we got here. So next up for winners, I eschewed a lot of the paperwork for the club contest. That's kind of the thing you do. But for the area contest, I'll have to hand you guys a few pieces, another couple things that you have to fill out. Maybe Nat will handle that. And with that, I will turn it back over to our president for closing thoughts.
Thanks, Vince, for helping us run that contest today. We do appreciate it. Is there anything else? Right.
Mr. President, I am under the understanding that we've not awarded the Paul Chiavetti, our Toastmaster of the Year award for last year. The general idea, and I kind of laughed on this since I was out of the country at the time, is when the first meeting that the president takes over, we do that. So I'll ask that maybe the president send out an email asking for, for nominations and organize some sort of voting over email. And then next week, we can maybe get that award out. That's all.
Thank you, Brett. Yes, I'll take care of that. I'll take that on. Any other announcements? MDC is coming up. I'll be speaking at MDC. It's a great conference. Price isn't too bad. Sponsored by Leanne's company, ILM Services. All right, without any other announcements, I'll dismiss the meeting. Thank you.
Hey, Vince, I'm gonna ask you a favor. Sure. I forgot to hand you this. I had your name on it.